Bismillah. Okay, so should be better now, right? Everyone can hear me? I don't have any way of knowing if people can hear me or not, so I'm just gonna, inshallah, start. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So, alhamdulillah, today, inshallah, for our Suhba series, we will be doing the rights of yourself, rights of your body, inshallah. This is a very important topic for multiple reasons, because number one, we are in Ramadan, right? Number one, we are in Ramadan. And we know that in Ramadan, we have an opportunity to raise our worship more so than we were doing outside of Ramadan, right? This is the whole point of Ramadan. So therefore, a lot of us, you know, we go into Ramadan with like this intention to do like as much as possible, right? To go really, really hard, just go hard for the, you know, for the first 10 days of Ramadan. And then what happens eventually though, is that we end up losing momentum. Unfortunately, we end up losing momentum and we end up losing gas. Around like the 10th day, 15th day max, we end up losing gas. And we don't want that. We want sustainability. All right. So the Prophet ﷺ says in a very beautiful hadith that we all know and we all love. And I quote it a lot of times because it is very important for us. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ahabbul a'mali ila Allahi adwamuha wa in qalb." The most beloved deeds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the deeds that are consistent, even if they're very, very small, right? So again, in Ramadan, it's different. You're thinking like, look, I know like this hadith probably applies outside of Ramadan, but inside of Ramadan, is it the same thing? That's a very good question. As a matter of fact, it is the same thing because the Prophet ﷺ did not, this wasn't just like a one-off thing. But we're going to go through this hadith, inshallah, and then we're going to move on to a next occurrence, a next hadith that the Prophet ﷺ also taught his Sahaba when he found that they were doing something. But when the Prophet ﷺ says, "Ahabbul a'mali ila Allahi adwamuha wa in qalb," that the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those deeds that are small, that are consistent, even if they're extremely small. In the language that he uses here, right, the word for qaleel, the word for small is qaleel, as we know in the Arabic language. The word for small is qaleel. But the Prophet ﷺ uses qal. He uses the word qal. So he used the word qaleel, but then he cut it he cut it and he used a smaller version, a shorter version of the word. And he did that basically to demonstrate that the deed could be like really, really, really small. So therefore, he even cut the word small into a smaller part, right? So if we look at this hadith and we try to apply it in Ramadan, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, we'll see that we will be able to go through from day 1 all the way to day 29 or day 30, and we won't run out of gas, right? Now, let me give you an example. I'm not saying like the entire Ramadan, we should just like, take like one ayah of the Quran, and every day we just read one ayah throughout the Ramadan. That's not what I'm saying at all. Bear with me. What I'm saying is you start off with, like, you don't bite off more than you can chew per se, right? You start off with something small, something that you know that you can handle. So before Ramadan started, let me give you a tangible example. So before Ramadan started, you were maybe doing, let's say you were reading 5 pages of Quran every day, right? Or maybe let's just go down. Maybe you were reading 1 page of Quran every day. Good. Maybe you were not reading any Quran at all, right? Like outside of Ramadan, you were not reading any Quran, or you were reading like 1 page of Quran a day. And then now Ramadan comes, and then of course, this is a normal Muslim thing, right? It's good. It's a good thing, by the way, that we want to do everything in our power to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get the most out of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, that is a very positive thing. And that's what we should all aim for. That's what we should all aim for. But because of this mentality, what happens is you say to yourself, I'm going to go really hard. All right. So what does that look like? In the Quran example, that looks like you going from not reading Quran at all outside of Ramadan, right? Not reading Quran at all outside of Ramadan. And then Ramadan starts and you say, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing the Hufaz do, and I'm going to read a whole juz every single day in Ramadan. You say, I'm going to read a whole juz every single day in Ramadan. And What happens is the first day of Ramadan starts. You're not, it's the thing is, it is muscle memory, right? But not only that, practice makes things easier. So when you're not used to something, and then you just all of a sudden try to do a large amount of it, you're gonna burn out, or you're gonna see like, man, this is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. So now you have an entire juz, which is 20 entire pages, and you went from reading no Quran, like except like here and there, right? And I'm being very realistic, right? I'm being very realistic because a lot of us, we don't, outside of Ramadan, we struggle with having a connection with the Quran. It's just the facts. It's just the facts, right? So that's why I'm giving this example. That's why this example makes sense and it's tangible. And it's something that we can all understand. So you go from not reading Quran at all or barely reading Quran outside of Ramadan, and now you want to be like a super hafiz or a super reciter of the Quran, and you're going to read a juz every day. And then some people say, I'm going to read 2 juz every day. But let's say you're just going to read a juz every day. Khalas, now the juz is here. It's 20 pages. You start reading by page 5, you're like, man, this is kind of a lot, right? The reason why it's a lot is because you're not used to this. You're not used to doing this. So and you want to accelerate it, right? Even though you're not used to it, because you feel bad not doing as much as you possibly can inside of Ramadan, right? And I want to be clear, I'm not advocating that you should do the least amount. That's not what I'm advocating. Please, no one text me after this and be like, astaghfirullah, brother Hassan, why would you say this? All right? I am not advocating that. What I'm saying is, very carefully, what I'm saying is, if the Prophet ﷺ said the deeds that are beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that are the ones that are consistent. So that means consistency is more important than quantity. Consistency is more important than quantity, right? So if you read an entire juz for the first 10 days of Ramadan, and then for the rest of Ramadan, you burned out and now you don't do anything at all, is that better than you taking it slow and doing 1 page and then increasing from the 1 page to 2 pages, to 3 pages, to 4 pages, pushing yourself a little bit, but pushing yourself to the amount where you know that this is doable? You see what I'm saying? We push ourselves beyond what we do outside of Ramadan, but it has to also be tangible, something that we can attain. You can't go from nothing at all, from 0 to 100. That's not how it works, right? And that's why this hadith is very important. And the reason why this is connected is because to try to do this, number one, while you're fasting, right, it's very difficult, right? All my hufaz, if there's hufaz there listening, or anyone that reads a lot of Quran while they're hungry, they know it is extremely draining. It is extremely draining. Reciting Quran is extremely draining because all you're doing is talking and talking like that. You're just consistently doing this the entire time, right? And if it takes you, let's say on average, 30 to 35 minutes to do an entire juz, so there's 35 minutes of you just consistently saying and reading and reading and reading. And now the body gets tired. The body gets extremely tired. And when that happens, when the body gets tired, now mentally, it's gonna psych you. It's gonna psych you. Now you're gonna be like, man, I think I bit off more than I can chew. So instead of saying, let me decrease it a little bit, the mind is almost gonna just lay out and just give up. Because we want, the human body and we like easy things. We don't like to be in difficulty. We like easy things. So therefore, the easier, the better. So if we go that hard and we see that we can't do it, what's going to happen is we're just going to stop, right? And that is inadvisable. So when I say, ahabbul a'mali ilallahi adwamuha wa in qal, start off small. If you are not doing anything at all, start with a page. Start with 5 pages. Let's say start with 5 pages. You're challenging yourself. Start with 5 pages. And then you do 5 pages. Maybe for 2-3 days, you do 5 pages. And you see, I can handle this. Now you move on and you double it. And that's absolutely fine. You double the 5 pages. Now you do 10 pages. And now when you see that the 10 pages, you can handle it after a few days. Okay, alhamdulillah, I can handle 10 pages. I can do more. I have the time. I have the energy. I can do it. Now add another 10 pages. Make it 15. And then just like that, now you add 20 pages. You're doing a whole jizz. But it started off with you testing the waters and seeing that, oh, I'm able to do this. Psychologically, that's very important. Psychologically, that's very important. It gives you the motivation right? To be able to do it. It gives you the motivation and the initiative to be able to do it. Because now you, in your brain, you're like, oh, I did 5 pages, I could do it. So when you go to tell, like, oh, I did 10 pages, right? But when you bite more than you can chew, and then you ended up not being able to chew it, now you don't think you can chew anything at all. That's what happens, right? And also, now we're moving on. Now, what does it have to do with the body? Because again, when you're fasting, you get very tired, right? And you want to do a lot of things, but the body has rights upon you, right? Your body has rights upon you. Your eyes has rights upon you. Your ears has rights upon you. Your tongue, your mouth, your nose, your legs, your hands, every part of your body has a right upon you. And you should not oppress any part of yourself. You should not oppress any part of yourself. That is not Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that he wanted this hardship for us, right? In the ayat talking about Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرُ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرُ. He wants ease for us, and he does not want hardship. He wants ease for us, and he does not want hardship. But a lot of times we seem to think that the closer, we are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more like we have to do, we have to put ourselves in difficulties in order to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think that things must be really difficult for us to really gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like we have to be struggling, like, yeah, now I feel like I'm really doing jihad. Like struggle, not anyone who's listening. Jihad meaning struggling with your own nafs, with your own self. Okay? The jihad of the nafs, the jihad of the soul. You feel like now I'm really doing jihad. I'm really struggling now. So that means now automatically I'm closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was said about him that he would always take the easier of two roads, the easier of two options, right? Not that any of his options were necessarily easy, but the easier of the two, the more, the less hard, the less harsh. And he's teaching us something in that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through a lot, so he could handle it. But he's trying to teach us that, you know what, you don't have to put yourself in hardship. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afiyah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for ease. And for you don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for trouble and hardship, right? So when we say the body has its rights upon you in Ramadan, yes, we want to do more. And we should do more. Sleep a little less. But does it mean that you stay up all night and all day? If you're going to stay up all night, after Fajr, get some rest, right? But you staying up all night and then go to work all day and be like, no, I can handle this. And then what happens, it affects other aspects of your life, your family life, right? Now you get to a point where you burn out and you can't even worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anymore. Why? Because you did too much, too quick, and too early and too hurriedly, right? So that your body's telling you, hey, relax. I have rights upon you as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rights upon you, and I have rights upon you. Our body is alone from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't own our bodies. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to take care of our bodies. So we must do as such. We must take care of our bodies, right? And part of taking care of your body as well, let's say I have this problem. When iftar time comes, I drink a little bit of water, and then like I can't eat anything, right? But I haven't eaten all day long. I should eat something. I should try to at least get some nutrition inside of my body, because otherwise, again, I won't be able to sustain my energy to be able to even pray at night if I wanted to, right? So your body has this right upon you. There's a narration by Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu. He says, a group of 3 men came to the houses of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam worshipped. Excuse me. And when they were informed about that, they considered their worship insufficient, and they said, where are we from? Where are we from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as his past and future sins has been forgiven? Then one of them said, I will offer the prayer throughout the night forever. I will offer the prayer throughout the night forever. The second one said, I will fast throughout the year and will not break my fast. The third said, I will keep away from women and will not marry forever. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to them and said, are you the same people who said so and so? By Allah, I am more submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and more afraid of him than you are. Yet I fast and I break my fast. I do sleep and I also marry women. So he who does not follow my tradition in religion is not from me, not from my followers. I think this hadith would summarize everything that we need to know, right? This hadith summarizes everything that we need to know. The point of this hadith is to show us that life is supposed to be a balance. Even in Ramadan, life is supposed to be a balance. I know there is the tradition of like, no, Ramadan, you literally like don't sleep, don't eat, don't do nothing. All you do is worship, like just worship, nothing else. You should just sit on your sajada. Excuse me, guys, this light always turns off. You should just sit on your sajada and don't even leave it, all right? And that is how you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is how you really take advantage of the Ramadan. But that is not the only way. That is not the only way. Sleeping in Ramadan when you're tired is part of you doing ibadah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sleeping in Ramadan when you're tired, when you can't go on anymore, when you're tired, is part of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Eating properly for iftar, to sustain your energy, to be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is also worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see what I'm saying? Taking care of your body in Ramadan, eating right, eating the right things, the things that will give you energy, and not eating garbage, not eating the oily foods, not doing all of those things is also part of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How so? It's all about the intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَىٰ. It is narrated by Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu that he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. That every action that you do is judged by the intention behind it. And you will be rewarded for what you intended, right? So thinking with this, if I'm sleeping, I'm taking a nap during the afternoon, let's say, not a long nap, but just to be able to like get some energy, refresh myself, and be able to get up and do more ibadah. My intention is that I just need to take a little bit of a nap because I need to be able to read more Quran. And if I take this nap, I'll be able to do that. I'll get a little bit more energy. I'm tired, right? Maybe you didn't sleep that well the night before. Okay. Then you take the nap. While you're taking the nap, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rewarded you for the nap. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rewarded you for the nap. You're getting good deeds written. Why? Because your intention behind the nap is all Allah. Your intention behind the nap is all Allah. No one else and nothing else. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will reward you. Right? I will reward you for it. Because he said the intention behind it was something that had to do with me. Right? Forget the action for a second and go to the intention. Go to the intention. So when it comes to what we do inside of Ramadan, we can, and obviously this is outside of Ramadan as well, but especially inside of Ramadan, because we are craving to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are craving good deeds. There is a cheat code. And the cheat code is your intention. Everything that you do, make it an intention to be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. Everything that you do. Everything that you do. Because you're not going to do anything that's going to be displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, oh, I have the intention to do this for blah, blah. No. So when I say everything that you do, alhamdulillah, I have husnul dhan that everything that you're going to be doing, inshallah, is going to be in accordance with Islam. So with that, make the intention and do. Make the intention and rest. Because again, your body needs the rest. Make the intention and rest. Because again, the mind needs the rest. Right? Make the intention and rest. Because the tongue, the mouth needs the rest. Right? The reason why I don't go on my Instagram live during the day is because I am fasting. And while I'm fasting, to try to recite with a melody an entire juz is taxing. I have done it in the past. For the past 3 years, I used to do it every single Ramadan. And this Ramadan, I decided I'm going to do it after I get something in my belly. Right? My intention, I get paid for. It's the same thing. I don't have to be, if you're still hungry and the hunger and you're about to die, then the reward is even more. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that. Yes, not everything is going to be easy, but that doesn't mean that you should add extra difficulties on top of it when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't add the extra difficulties on top of it. That is the point. Do not add the extra difficulties on top if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not add it. Your body has rights upon you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one time came inside of the masjid, and he saw there was ropes tied to a couple of the pillars. And he inquired, like, what is this? Like, why is there a rope tied on the pillar at the masjid? He was told that one of his wives would be praying like excessively. She was, mashallah, abida salihah, right? Like all of our mothers, radiallahu anhum ajma'in. All of our mothers, righteous, right? So the Prophet ﷺ saw this rope, and he inquired, and he was told that this is the ropes of your wife, and whenever she would be praying, when she gets tired, she would tie herself with the ropes so she wouldn't fall back. She would be so sleepy that she might fall and sleep in salah. Subhanallah. So she tied rope. This is how, mashallah, like so it's a different generation, right? This is the extent that they would go to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. But the lesson in the story is even deeper. Told the Sahaba that were there and the people that were there, untie it. And he told his wife, pray as much as your body can handle and then rest. And then when you rest, come back to prayer. And if we look at these two ahadith and we try to these three ahadith that I talked about, and we try to implement this in our Ramadan, we will see that we will have all the energy to be able to go through the entire Ramadan without burning out. We will have all the energy to be able to go through the entire Ramadan without burning out. Inshallah, bi'idhnillah. So I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're able to practice what has been heard here and what has been said. And everything that I said that was right is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And anything that I said that was wrong, that was from myself alone and no one else. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you, blesses me, blesses all of us this Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us closeness to Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us closeness to Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us closeness to Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to get out of this Ramadan so much better than when we came in Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to get out of the Ramadan so much better as a Muslim and a Muslimah than we came in Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to gain taqwa even before the end of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to gain taqwa even before the end of Ramadan. The shield that we want to be able to fight off our own desires, but to fight off the outside enemy as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant closeness to Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and bless our families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant shifa to anyone who is sick. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant Jannatul Firdaus to anyone who passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate us all from any sickness that we have, whether it be cancer, whether it be a smaller sickness, no matter what it is, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get rid of all of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wash away our sins by way of us being sick, by way of us going through hardship. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate us from all of our sins. Where we pass away, when we pass away as if we're newly born. And we're raised up as if we were newly born and we never committed any sins. We never did any mistakes, anything bad at all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us closeness to the Quran in this month of the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us closeness to the Quran in this month of the Quran. May we love the Quran. May we adore the Quran. May we follow the Quran. May we use the Quran as the guide that it was meant to be in our lives. May we replace any music that we love more than the Quran. May the Quran replace that music. May the Quran replace all forms of music that we are in love with and attached to, and gives us peace. May the Quran be our source of peace. May the Quran come on the day of judgment and testify on our behalf and not against us. May the Quran come on the day of judgment and testify on our behalf and not against us. May the Quran say that we used to read it. May the Quran say that we used to follow it. May the Quran say that we used to live by it. may we at least be a little bit of what Aisha radiallahu anha said about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kana khuluquhu al-Quran, that his character was the Quran, as he was the walking Quran. May we come as close as possible to that, inshallah bi'idhnillah. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al-Hakim, wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bima fihi min al-ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa lisa'iril muslimina fastaghfiruh innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.